I don't like trolls. I am a troll. I'm a vicious, mean, bloodthirsty troll. By nature and by history, I was trolling before you people were sucking air, most of you. Oh, nearly nobody's as old and mean as I am. Take that to the bank. So, but I only troll trolls. Only trolls people who have it coming. I will do that forever. And not for myself, but for people who are decent human beings, who aren't me, who aren't soup, tactical soup. Yeah, that's one mean bastard. I wouldn't mess with him, though I can mess with him because I'm one mean son of a bitch. And I need that with some literary, because my mom was, as far as I know, she's still as mean as nails. She had a rough early years. Got married at 15 and she wasn't pregnant. My brother was born nearly to the day of her wedding. Oh. And that started the train rolling because my father was a tent show with revivalists when he was 17. So yeah, he was no sicko involved, you know. She turned 16. I turned 18, but they were married legally with the parents' permission. I've never heard the story because her parents really were not the. I'm sure as hell weren't hillbillies or decent middle class people. That conversation, my mom held a lot of things back, but she assured me she just wanted to get out of the house. I'm not going to go into my mom's history because that's her history. As far as I know, she's still alive. I just can't talk to her anymore because I just can't anymore. I don't have the energy, and that's fine. She's got people who take care of her. The rest of my family, I have one brother who's cool as hell. We tread gingerly around each other. My family wasn't very good. Wasn't the worst in the block, but it was very not good. Very, very. Again, I'm like, yeah. So my father was a street preacher, and then he conked his noggin and got weird and turned into a 1% biker. He invented the term 1%, and I had his little gold pin from that until it was stolen and sat actually in Hollywood. Troll ass street punk decided it was a cool thing to rip me off. Yeah, it was a son of a bitch. It was very cold. I was on a really bitchin' Wehrmacht cap. Latter day, it wasn't a Nazi vintage, but it was identical. Fucking CEO would have killed for that hat. But off it went. I was doing drugs in my shitty apartment. He came in and all well was good, I thought, and then he ripped me off. Can't remember if he stole anything else, but chances are I was pretty loose with my belongings. He did get my drugs though. So keep an eye on that. Doing cocaine and methamphetamine in those days. Shot a little bit around the edges. I shot more meth than coke. Because I had this girlfriend of sorts. Well, back this up. I was in Hollywood heading for, I can't remember the bar's name, but it'll come to me today. A bunch of punks to see a show. It was like $2 a head. Like, I'll buy your way in. And they weren't carding people back then. Not at this place. Cafe de Grand, thank you. Look it up. Cafe de Grand. Not cafe, like China. So, it's these punks, bought them beer and stuff, because I had a job. I was working in the garment district at the time, living in downtown LA, or working in downtown LA, living in Hollywood, West Hollywood. I wasn't gay. I was one of the few heterosexuals on the block. That was really close to Santa Monica Boulevard, which is where the gay hookers hung out. And yeah, they were all underage. And thank you, gay people of the world. You need to start living that shit down, because there's a bunch of chomos. I'm sorry, that's what was people were picking up. If they looked over 19, they were out of business. Yeah, and this is early 80s, so AIDS had just started rearing its ugly head, which is a drag, because I liked a lot of gay people. I went to the bars, everything else. And I was relatively young, so I could get drinks for free. It's like, I'm straight, but if you want to try, buy me some beer, buy me some cocktails. And so, yeah. And the only bars around within walking distance, and I certainly wasn't driving back then. Yeah, it's where you're going to go. And a place called Okie Dogs. OKI Dogs. Now you look at that gem of an establishment up. That's where I ate most of my food. And an Okie Dog was, you get your big tortilla, right? And you got your chili, no beans, right? A couple of relatively, allegedly meat hot dogs. Yep, and you wrap it up, and there you go, an Okie Dog. And that was punk rock food, soul food. Place was owned by these really mean Korean guys, and they had to be, because the clientele was druggies, cons, male hookers, perverts, and somehow me, because it turns out I was considered the best customer they ever had. I found out after a while, because I would go in and I loved the food. I would get Okie pastrami burritos, which were kind of like an Okie Dog, but with pastrami and stuff, and came with exactly 1 pound of French fries and a big soda, and it came to $5. And even then, that was dirt cheap. That was just, it was good, big enough for 2 meals, and trust me, I was a glutton. And problem is, after you eat pastrami for about a month on end, yeah, I tend to fart a lot. And I drove my roommates, because I had 3 other roommates, and we were living in a studio hotel apartment with a bunch of couches and a hammock. Yeah, trust me. Walk-in closet, that was my boudoir for any sexy times I was having. I'm going to get to the point of the woman. I should now. You got an idea of what my life was sort of like. Anyway, the punks. Well, I bought some speed. I was spending money like stupid then, because rent was cheap, and I was making money. I made money and working so many fucking hours, you wouldn't believe it. One of the reasons I had cocaine and speed was I wanted to go out on Friday and Saturday nights, and the only way I could stay awake was to do a bunch of dope and then drink a lot of beer on top. And you kind of drink yourself somewhat sober, but boy, you get diabolical. You're not thinking straight, but you can think. You think a million miles a minute. And I was born weird. I'm autistic and crap. Kind of weird bent high IQ in some directions and rock stupid in others. Very much savant. And don't say we're all like that, because fuck your cliches. You have no idea where my brain traveled and travels. Anyway, do the speed, and yeah, whatever. I vaguely remember doing the speed, and I did all these chumps in my hotel room, and that place stunk when they were in there. It smelled like BO, amphetamine sweat, and leather. That horrible smell, which was exactly the smell that Richard Ramirez smelled. I knew that smell, and I knew what that smell was. And I've heard it discussed on a bunch of crime shows about its stench. And I try to tell people, I know that smell can't be manufactured perfectly because I know that smell. God, I'm pretty good at recollecting olfactory memory, and that just boop, yeah, I know that I can smell it right now. Cataloged. I remember him walking on the street a couple of times. It was him, all right. we didn't know he was famous yet, but he stood out like fuck for the stench and his pure. That we don't want to fuck with this guy because and heavy metalers were nothing. We used to chase them down the street, and beat the shit out of them, but not this one. Yeah, my friend Rocco said he something wrong with that guy. Stay away from him. And I think he went to the porno theater that Rocco worked in. I think normally he would have been closed, thrown out for even perverts. You don't want to smell that. And I only went to porno theaters like twice in my life, and there's no point to these things. Like, I don't want to know what they're doing in there. I don't need to know. Don't need to know. But I came, I went, I didn't go back. Like, oh God, this is Whittier, California, LA County, and whatever. That's where Robert Ramirez. That's where maybe the first murder or not, second took place in Whittier. So that's kind of valid. Ramirez was staying at the little executive hotel, a complete rat-infested, bug-bitten, flea-bag hotel. I stayed there a couple of times. It's had a sort of charm to it. stayed in worse. Took a woman there once, a couple of times actually. I had girlfriends who had a good sense of humor, and they weren't. They were pretty decent people, but I just brought out the horrible in them, I guess. Long time ago, kids. Long time ago. So, yeah. Anyway, back to Hollywood. I didn't know I was going to go into one of these lectures. Oh, right on. I'm talking for like Mormo. Yeah, right on, buddy. Shout out to King Mormo. Go, yeah, he's kind of a clearinghouse for some coolness. Networking. He's a good networker. He turns us on to good people. Like JJ, son of the maniac. I'm telling you, he should get huge. He's got a style that people should get turned on to. And he's a funny guy on purpose. He's not a lolcat. He's JJ. He's a decent, good guy. He's funny as hell, and he's got some rough edges, and he looks cool smoking a cigar. A lot of people don't look cool smoking cigars. I can get away with it because I'm old, but I don't like them that much. Gotta switch over to something. So anyway, yeah. So in the morning, clear out all the punk rockers, and open a window. And my roommates weren't thrilled about it, but they got used to my low jinks because I didn't have high jinks. I had low jinks. I was the official street piece of crap. So they were amused by that. They were from different places, like Ohio, and places like that. Forgot where else they lived. Wherever 3 Mile Island is, I don't know. Brian Keith Ober lived there, and he was a riot. The straightest, most normal kid with the broadest sense of humor, and he loved being exposed. He got we go to punk shows at the Olympic Auditorium. Look at that splendid place up. Man, they had some good shows there. I don't know I went to all that many of them, but they had so many bands that it was like going to a million gigs. Everyone called them gigs. I didn't like that expression much. Shows, yeah, but going to a gig. That was what the Slurpee core. We used to call it Nerf core instead of hardcore. Slurpee, because I had the consistency of a Slurpee core. Remember that. Use it. Bring it back. It didn't get us enough credit. So yeah, day passed. And the next night, there's a tippity tappity at my Hollywood front door. Nobody's supposed to be here, but that's cool. It's always a surprise at my house. And it was the woman who was hanging out with us, who I dimly recalled her, but not actually, probably a hooker, a prostitute. But that, she hooker at my house. Go figure. And I remember she was like really cool, and she was kind of looking after me for a little bit, making sure I got a cab. You know, there are hookers that start hearts of gold, and she was one. And trust me, they're out there. They're usually not that attractive, but somehow they got something going on. They're smart. They got soul, real soul. It's like some junkies have souls. Some people don't have souls who are completely normal. Where everybody has a soul, but sometimes it's just caked over. Can't reach it, can't access it. Trolls, for the most part. Not trolls who troll trolls, but trolls. I'm getting to a point here. Meandering, but dithering, perhaps. So she shows up at the door saying, you know, I have to apologize to you. I don't remember. Well, I helped rip them off on a drug deal, and you didn't get your share. So I'm gonna have some meth here. Yeah, and hands me a bindle. Not a bad size bindle. You want to come in and have a beer? No, I'd love to. So she comes in. We start chatting. Chat. She's neat. You know, I don't call her out on being a hooker because she's also a straight up street speed freak, but that wasn't speed freak. Some speed tweakers actually had the meat on them, and they weren't. They weren't schizophrenic. It was a different. It was real crystal meth back then. That shit was a completely different beast. It was a beast to keep you up for days, and it didn't take very much. So we hung out, and I've never been good at injecting myself. I had her inject me when she took injected, and then we did adult things. That's all you need to know. But she started to showing up every either Friday night or Saturday morning. She'd show up, and we rinse, lather, repeat. That was my girlfriend in Hollywood. My friends were actually really amused by the whole thing. She just comes to your house and has sex, and you buy drugs from her at a fair price, and then she goes away and you don't have to see her again. That appears to be their tradition. And, shot of speed, get me through whatever happened to be going through. And it was a good base, high. I like to shoot speed and coke at the same time, which is called a stroke in a tube, I think. But she liked it too. We weren't that hell bent on staying alive. We're going down the same road together and then apart. I remember one time, such a weird story, and it's absolutely true, and you don't have to believe it because my stories were generally true. I don't have to airbrush them very much. But I really wanted some speed, and she said she was out. She knew a place, but it might be a little dicey. And she said, we have to get a cab to get there. I'm like, money, let's go get a cab. Let's get a cab. And she said, don't talk to the cabbie. You've done it before. Half the cops in Hollywood are off-duty cops or ex-cops, and they will turn you in a heartbeat. It's like, well, and they look at cops. Not the Albanians or whatever else, but I always get stuck with the white guys and the dispatcher. And you want a conspiracy theory? It's not even a theory. But anyway, go to this place, and it's a cop talking in clumsy code, and anybody could understand what we were saying, but we thought we were James Bond or Serpico or something, whatever the hell we were. Whatever. And we go there, and she comes out. She says, "There's a raid. Don't go in there." And I see undercover cars. Like, fuck, we need to get at her. I got this handled. You have this handled? Yeah. I'll get back as soon as I can. Just keep the meter running. It's like, okay. Cabs weren't that expensive back then. And again, I had a roll. Generally did. Not a huge roll, but, a discretionary money that was longing to be wasted. So she's gone out there for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna give her 5 more minutes. We're getting the fuck out of here, cabbie guy. Never to be seen again. But she shows up, and there are people coming in and out of the place, and they're obviously fucking cops. And she says, I said, well, God, what did you do to it? I got it. Don't worry about it. And I never found out how she went into a raided house and came back with a big bundle of speed, and it was good speed. She wouldn't tell me. I will never know. Last time I saw her, she came to my house one night and said, can I just get a little sleep? I haven't slept, and I'm kind of strung out. Sit down. Got a couch is right there. Go to sleep. I'm going to work in the morning, so I'll try not to bug you. She said, I'm going to sleep like a log. Trust me. And I told my roommate, like, just let her sleep. If she needs to stay up sleep in the morning, just let her, okay? And yeah, my friends knew her. She was absolutely not a thief. She was cool, and she wouldn't bring anybody else over there because what if I'm your friend? I trust you to be my friend, and you don't want to violate that. I violated it myself and lost friends that way, so I understand what's going on. So I come back the next night, and she's asleep. Like, holy shit, has she moved? Like, no, don't she even went to the bathroom, as long as we're in here. I wake her up and say, you've been sleeping for 24 hours. Yeah, I have not. I had to go out and get her a newspaper. Now, look, it's cool, but are you okay? And she said, no, I'm okay. She left, never saw her again. Trying to remember her name. It will come to me, but she was neat. Somehow we loved each other, and somehow it was not going to happen. But yeah, Nina. Her name was Nina. Yeah. And I don't even know if she was really a hooker. I think she just dealt dope. I don't know. It wasn't my business. My business with people is usually confined to what they do around me, or if it's egregious and I find out directly. Otherwise, I'm not gonna flame war people and rat people. I will rat people who really are trolls. No, trust me. Don't get me wrong. But it's got to be personal friend, a personal situation. So that's all I got for you, I think. Just a little glimpse of my life in the 1980s, which was, what a time it was. What a time it was. It was pretty grisly, really. The early 80s smelled weird. Yeah. A part of it, a decade with a distinct aroma. An epoch of smells.